Welcome to a brand new episode of Sequel Rights, the podcast where we take a look at the franchises that make you go, hey, yeah, what is beyond the mysterious beyond? And we give each and every sequel a fair trial. My name is Justin Camps, and I'm here with
Elizabeth Helly
and
Tyler Hymanson.
And we've made it, folks. We've made it. We're at the halfway point. It's all
living on a prayer.
It's all downhill from here. Or, yeah, you know, who knows what's going to happen.
Also, happy Pride Month, you rainbow faces.
Oh, boy. Right. Oh, boy. Yeah, we've brought you maybe one of the most problematic episodes of the series here tonight. As we talk about the Land Before Time VII, the Stone of Cold Fire. Ooh.
Sounds like something Indiana Jones would want.
I wonder what that stone's going to be about. But, before we get too far, it's the top of the show here, and we always like to, give you a little info.
You can email us about your thoughts on the next 7 Land Before Times, sequelrights@gmail.com, or you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Sequel Rights.
And please rate and review us on Apple Podcast. 5 sky circles goes a long way to helping other people find the podcast, and we really appreciate it.
That's right. We love all those blinky lights. All right, let's get into it.
Universal Studios Home Video presents a brand new adventure, millions of years in the making. With Littlefoot, Sarah, Petrie, Spike, and Ducky in the Land Before Time VII, the Stone of Cold Fire.
What is a Stone of Cold Fire?
Glad you asked.
When Littlefoot sees an amazing sight in the skies above the Great Valley, no one believes it's true.
Perhaps you saw a flying rock that only seemed different.
Which leads the gang on an unforgettable adventure.
If we found that Stone of Cold Fire, everyone could see it for themselves.
A timeless quest of exciting discovery and lasting friendship.
I always cut it off like right before it gets into the songs because I don't want to give away any spoilers.
What year did this come out?
I think this is the year 2000. Yeah.
What year did Chicken Little come out?
Oh,
around
it's
then.
got to be around the same time.
Just wondering.
Let's look. That's a very good question.
2005. 2005.
Oh, all right. Well, then Disney copied this movie.
Well, wasn't Chicken Little was like a story before that anyways, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah. But like it didn't. I mean, I've only seen this movie like half a time, Chicken Little, but like, didn't it turn out to be aliens?
Maybe.
I think so.
I don't remember. I wouldn't be surprised.
I know the song from the compilation Disney CD better than I know anything about the movie Chicken Little.
Yeah, it always ends up being aliens in the end, doesn't it?
Look, we need to do a meme of the aliens guy with.
Yeah. We totally should. What was that other? We had aliens in Meatballs too, right?
Yeah, that's right.
That one.
Aliens.
That one was just about as unexpected as Aliens in the Land Before Time.
I'm surprised we didn't get an alien in Beethoven, but
hey, there's still time.
Santa.
There's still time.
There's still time. I guess Santa could be an alien.
So it's been a few movies since we brought in this 3D animated galaxy opening, which is sort of weird that they did it and then walked it back, and then now it's back.
Yeah. And I think the one thing that I kind of liked about this movie is that it's got a little bit of self-referential inside jokes for people who've been watching all the Land Before Time movies out of nowhere, like the opening, for example. Where it's basically just Petrie like making fun of all the openings that have existed.
Yep.
in these movies.
Yeah, that same meta thing I quite enjoyed when Sarah's just like, no, I'm not going to go last over this thing. I'm going to fall in something mud or tar.
Every time we go out on an adventure, we always have to cross some sort of crazy deep chasm with some sort of rotting log.
Sort of treacherous crossing.
That was it was a great line that she brought up, the fact that there's always a treacherous crossing, but our friends in the IMDb trivia section calculated it, and she actually has almost never actually been last. It's usually Spike, just like it is in this one, because then he always gets distracted, tries to eat something, nearly kills them all.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's amazing that people were like, well, actually,
we ran the numbers.
Sarah was never in the back.
We have absolutely no right to use that voice.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Against the people in the IMDb.
I mean, I was just so happy that they were being self-referential. It didn't even occur to me to like go back and see how many times she was in the back, though.
Yeah, and when they go in that cave, they're like, could we at least for like one time go into a cave and not find some sort of scary monster? Yeah. Which I thought, I'm like, thank God these movies, like all of a sudden out of nowhere, are like, oh yeah, we can make fun of ourselves a little bit. Those are pretty much the only. Bit. Those are like the only times too, but it was enough to make me go, yay! In the midst of a pretty generic story with some weirdness going on.
It was weird. I mean, okay, so Petrie's like saying that flyers once ruled the earth. For some reason, but then they start alluding to his disgraced uncle, who, like, for the first 50% of the movie, with the way they were talking about him, I was like, was he a child molester?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, isn't that what they made it seem like?
Yes.
Like, he did something so horrible that we can't explain it to you until you're older, and like, you know, he's been sent away, and like, you're not allowed to talk about him. I was like, okay,
yeah,
definitely a sex offender of some
and it was
sort, right?
so, oh my God, yeah, that's why I was saying like this this has a lot of problematic stuff in it, because even the way that the kids, like the first time that Toronto or whatever is interacting with the dinosaur kids, they're all kind of like, ooh, we better get out of here, guys. Like, this guy's
stranger danger.
This guy's
Stranger danger.
And Petrie's just like, no, he's my uncle, yay. And it's just
Like,
like
liars are liars.
kind of gross.
The way that Littlefoot was like, I don't know why, but like, I just didn't like him. Is that okay? And Grandpa was like, yes, of course. I was like, well, that's like a good conversation to be had with kids, but then they just kind of like go back on it all and ruin it, you know? Like,
yeah. And they're just like, well, yeah, he said that, but
like,
we're
if
tough.
your gut tells you, I don't want to be around this person, like a kid should be able to, you know, be like, I didn't do it, you know? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. It was really creepy. They made a big deal about like, oh, we didn't know he was talking to the children.
Yeah, and also you shouldn't not talk to your kids about something like that until they're older. It's like, no, they need to know about it now. That's the whole point, so that they know if something's wrong. Like, ugh. Come on, Grandpa.
Yeah. Grandpa is still pretty out of it in this movie. We'll play a little clip of. I have one clip of Grandpa this week, which I thought was funny. But yeah. So like in the middle of the night, everyone's asleep. Littlefoot rolls over on a pine cone or something, wakes up.
Yeah, it was like a pistachio. Like I was confused.
It was really weird. Like they could have just had him wake up because of a noise. Instead, they had him roll over on something that like pokes him in the
crunchy.
back. Yeah, we have to explain why he would be awake.
And nobody else was.
Yeah, and he sees the titular stone of cold fire flying across the sky.
Which, by the way, crashes right near, what was it called? Three-Horn Peak. And I was like, why don't we have to have a whole movie that explains like the backstory behind Three-Horn Peak? And what happened to Saurus Rock, P.S.?
Yeah.
That would have been a great callback had the stone of cold fire crash next to Saurus Rock.
I know. I wonder if they were just like, oh, we just had an entire movie about Saurus Rock. We can't do it again with this one. But it was just weird that like, yeah, it looked like, you know, if you're watching the movie, I don't know the orientation of the Great Valley, but it looked like they were looking in the exact same direction as where the Saurus Rock would have been, but instead it's a giant Triceratops rock mountain, whatever. Stupid. It looked cool though, but I was like, why?
It did look cool.
Why? Keep
Also,
the continuity.
Grandpa calls Sarah's dad Mr. Three-Horn in this, and we still have not heard anybody call him Daddy Tops. So I may have been duped by the Land Before Time Wikia community. But
hey, it could still waiting. It could happen as, you know, if it happens as recent as the newest movie, they might have put it as Daddy Tops.
That's right.
So
I am not questioning their integrity. I'm just waiting eagerly for it to happen.
Please,
I'm using the
my
moniker.
father was Mr. Three-Horn. Call me Daddy Tops.
Yeah, I have been starting to use that moniker in my sound clips and stuff. Like Daddy Tops does this. You know.
Oh God,
It's just more fun.
It is.
So after Littlefoot sees the thing, he wakes up his grandparents. They didn't see it, and he's like, "Oh well." And then, rather than showing him like trying to explain what happened to other people or getting everybody all riled up, they just cut immediately to the scene where they're telling him he's a liar and that he needs to stop talking about it. And I was like, who cares about why does anyone care about this?
Yeah, maybe you should shut up about that.
They skipped the whole part where him talking about it is bad for some reason.
Right.
Like, what did it cause that then makes everyone so angry?
It's just because
it's insane. It's like nobody no parent in this has ever been trapped being told about a Pokemon card or something else like that. Like, kids say bullshit all the time. Like, it's like if you were like, no, let's not talk about that. It's too fantastical.
It's like they're trying. I think, what did they say? Like, they didn't want to like spook the long walkers or whatever, like, because they had guests in the Great Valley for 2 seconds.
Yeah, like basically they were just mad at him because he was saying stuff that other people didn't believe. Like, he wasn't proposing anything. He wasn't like, it's so stupid.
Is it possible that they all know? Because we don't realize till later on that Toronto thinks that the Stone of Cold Fire is going to give him like X-Men powers or something. And like he basically has a Marvel villain storyline. And so is it that they don't that's what he's always talked about, is like, we'll find that stone and then it'll be amazing. And so like they've always heard him talk about it. And so that's why they're like, hey, Littlefoot, don't talk about
No,
that
it doesn't
stone.
seem like that's the case at all.
I know.
They're just like, you're spooking us all with this
Shut up.
mumbo jumbo.
I guess it would be like if a kid is like talking about their imaginary friend who's like dead, like like a spooky movie, like, he used to live here until he died, that kind of thing. But like Littlefoot's not saying anything like that. I don't understand why they're so mad.
Also, they would see so many like shooting stars and meteorites back then. It would happen all the fucking time.
Yeah, somebody literally said, I think Grandpa is like, well, we see falling rocks all the time, like it just.
I know. I kind of wish we would have seen the scenes where he was just going around telling everyone, and they were like, "Shut up! You don't know what you're talking about."
Yeah, or like maybe him continuing to talk about it causes something that makes everyone mad. But nope, they just cut straight to it. And while they're all yelling at him, 2 rainbow faces come to his rescue and sing a little song that convinces pretty much nobody.
This is the first song of 3, and there's a reprise actually.
First reprise we've ever had. I was shocked.
Yeah, and it's called Beyond the Mysterious Beyond, and it's like this weird. It's like this weird mixture between like Willy Wonka, Somewhere Out There, Part of Your World type of thing. Yeah. But it's like, it was interesting though, because they got like the guy who does the voice of Rainbow Face 1 is Charles Kimbrough. And he was actually nominated for a Tony for being part of Company. So like,
more importantly, he was in Hunchback.
Oh, well, yeah, there you go. But I mean, like, they have a real singer here, which was kind of nice for once, instead of kids and the guy who sings later in the movie. But
I like how this song is the equivalent of somebody watching like the intro song for Reading Rainbow or Wishbone or some old PBS show from our cartoon, and they're just being like, nah, and changing the channel. That's their response to all of it. Is being like, oh, something curious and interesting. No,
it's amazing. I wanted to talk about this song too, because I think that this is the first time where we've seen a song being sung and performed in front of people who are like not involved in the song. Yeah. So like every other one has been like the kids off by themselves or the villains by themselves. And this one's like 2 weird dinosaurs that look like they come out with their eyes are like red. I was like, are these guys stoned, or like, are they supposed to be hippies or what? And I'm wondering if like everyone was actually watching them sing, or if it was like a weird situation where they froze for a second or something. I don't know.
I mean, Daddy Tops had the song where like he was inflicting the song on other people, where he was like, here I come, like, listen to me.
Are there other people around for that?
Yeah, like he was like stomping towards other dinosaurs.
Yeah,
and they were, like,
He
cowering
did
away.
sing in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And by
But, like, no,
everybody,
but
I
this
mean
one,
the
like-
2 other generic dinosaurs that they drew.
Yeah. But this one, you're right. It's like nobody's actually doing anything. Like they're all just kind of standing around
And they have,
watching the song and being like, okay, bye.
Yeah, they have
Nice.
conversations in the middle of the song. Like,
Yeah.
you know these people? What the fuck is going on over there?
It's like at the end they were going to put a hat out for money and no one was going to put anything in it.
And that's our show. Thank you very much. We're part of the traveling crew. We'will be gone in a month.
Happy Pride Month, everyone. Yeah. No, it's so funny how like it is Pride Month right now, but like that like they immediately are like, I think it is Daddy Top. She's like, I'm not gonna let 2 rainbow faces tell me how to think.
Oh yeah, I have this.
God.
I have this amazing clip.
Okay.
Where like, because up until then, you don't hear what their name is at all, and it's really awkwardly emphasized in this moment right here.
What if it was, for example, a stone of cold fire?
What does the rainbow face mean?
There's like everyone's like, and there's like a louder guy. What does the rainbow face mean?
Also, like, how do they have a concept of a rainbow?
Yeah,
Because let's not. We already talked about sky water versus rain. You can't have a rainbow without rain.
Yeah, they also wouldn't know about colors, I don't think. So what would they?
Well, no, there's a whole thing about colors in
yeah.
the later song too. I was like, what's the deal with colors?
We'll get to that.
I think they knew colors because they've always talked about green food
But
from
like-
the very beginning.
That's true.
That's
so,
true.
I mean, do we really want them to be calling them color faces, though? I don't know if that's better.
Yikes!
Yeah, I was
Stripe color.
Striped face.
Straight face. Literally anything else.
I was like,
Okay,
what would
fine.
they?
Rainbow faces.
Yeah. I was gonna say like they must have seen rainbows in general throughout their lives. So what do you think they would call a rainbow?
They call it
Color
sky
light or
band.
something.
Sky color
Yeah.
band.
The sky band. Yeah, I don't know. You're right. But yeah, Tyler, they sing the. You're right. They sing this entire song, and it comes to this wonderful ending, and then this happens.
I'm sorry, but what are you saying?
Poor Grandpa doesn't. He's just like, oh, what?
Who's he? Who are you?
What? Where am I? And I know we've joked about this, but Daddy Tops does go full on like super
Top.
tropey racist in this. He literally says,
You're not from around here, are you?
You might say that.
Then let me tell you how things work in these parts.
I was like, I almost spit on my drink when he's like, you're not from around here.
We don't take kindly to your type around
I was like,
here.
wow, okay. They're like not even being subtle with this anymore. Not that they were really being subtle before, but.
Oh, Daddy Tops.
Oh, Daddy Tops.
But no, I honestly though, like after this song and everything, I still did not see the alien thing coming at all.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
Even though they said, "Oh, I guess you could say we're not from around here," like I was not making that connection at all.
I know. I went back and after they realize, they make it extremely obvious that they're aliens towards the end. You go back and watch this, and you can see them being like, "Oh, there's so many things out there. In fact, there's one giant plant," and then the other like dinosaur like cuts them off, like, and then you're like, so watching it back a second time, you're like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I see how you could figure that out." But otherwise, yeah, my initial thought was that they were like hippies or something because
Yeah, they were just weird.
yeah.
Oh God. Okay. So yeah, that's the first song. Then we finally meet Toronto, which has a silent P in it, by the way, in case
Yeah,
you weren't
the
watching
P
with
is silent.
captions.
Toronto.
It is Paterno.
Paterno.
Toronto. They continue to talk about him like he's a child molester for quite some time. And then it doesn't help that he then, when he appears, he talks to the kids only and is like, "Don't tell your parents I'm here." You know?
Real creepy.
Yeah.
Why?
Real creepy.
He goes from molester to child murderer fairly quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, but guys, he's good inside. Okay, don't worry.
He's good inside.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, okay. So, but before we even get to that, like at the point where they reveal like what actually happened to cause him to be banned from the tribe, and Grandpa like tells this whole story, like what happened wasn't even his fault. Like it wasn't. They make it seem like the worst thing ever, and really it was just that this guy had PTSD. He had trauma from seeing everybody die and not being able to help them, and he took the blame for it, and then he became evil because everyone ostracized him at that point.
Yeah, but didn't he like? It was his fault because he led them that way, didn't he? Because he was like, I know where I'm going.
Like, I thought they were going to say that he was in cahoots with the sharp teeth to lead them there. No. But he totally wasn't. It was a complete accident. And then when he came back to the group, instead of being like, I'm sorry, you were right or whatever, he just couldn't talk about what happened. And so they threw him out.
Yeah.
It was his hubris, because what they were saying is that, their committee, they all make choices together. And he was like, that's dumb. I'm going to go this way, which is something that Sarah does every fucking movie.
Yeah.
And so it's like they do blame him for that, but this is the first movie where they've had it be our sacred communal choice making, where like the adults fight every single fucking time.
Yeah, like at this point, basically he's ostracized because he had a political or some sort of belief. He led people the other direction. It didn't go well through technically no fault of his own, and then he is like a criminal to them because of that for some reason. It doesn't make any sense.
He caused the death of all
obviously
those
he
dinos.
Becomes evil because of what he's trying to do now that he's back, but like the original punishment did not fit the crime, in my opinion.
Which is like, it seems like that the initial crime, he was punished for far longer than he was for this crime.
Yeah, they totally kicked him out.
Yeah.
It's very strange what they like.
We don't understand dinosaur law. That's for another podcast.
Yeah, seriously.
I did kind of enjoy that lore dump where it was like, this is what really happened on our journey. Because I was like, oh yeah, I guess in the first movie we just find Grandma and Grandpa at the Great Valley at the end, and we don't really see how they get there. So
it wasn't interesting. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it was fun to hear that, and now I like to think that maybe Sarah's mom and her sisters went off with the pterodactyl guy.
Oh no!
Or Spike's family.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is funny how they kind of back themselves up against a wall there, though, because it was like, oh, it all happened in the Great Valley. And it's like, there's not a lot of time in the Great Valley for.
So I am glad that they at least worked that out, that it happened before they got there. Which I guess was interesting.
I mean, it was not that long ago.
No,
we don't know how many cold times have passed. Jesus.
I mean, the kids have not grown at all.
Yeah. They're never going to. You guys who said that puberty was going to happen are wrong. I think.
We still got 7 more movies.
That's true.
Come on.
Okay, well.
Yeah, it's very weird, and there's, they don't really ever they sort of allude to it, but they don't quite deal with the shame that Toronto has brought upon Petrie's mom as this is my brother who did this, and she sort of addresses it, but also then not really.
Yeah.
And how that life would be for her in the group after that. But.
Yeah.
But I guess it's good that he wasn't a child molester.
Yeah.
That is good.
Thank God. I can't deal with that. I can't deal with that in the Land Before Time movies. I'm sorry.
No.
So another problem about having all of these various adult flyers around this time, instead, we've had Petrie's mom consistently, but now that we have Toronto and these 2 other evil guys, and then the big random flyer that comes in at the end, the scale in this movie is even more whack than all the other ones have been before this,
and yet still better than Cats somehow.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, please, but it's all over the place. There are times when Ducky is in so tiny that she's in the claws, and there are other times where she's so big that she sits across all of Sarah's head, and the big the big flyers are like so much bigger than Littlefoot and Sarah, and it makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
They're ginormous.
Yeah, there's totally that. There's that moment. I thought about that too. At that moment where like they're chasing Ducky, and you see like the claws coming behind her, and I was like, oh my god, they look like gigantic. And before, sometimes he looks like the same size as Littlefoot or something.
Right.
So I don't know.
It's really bizarre. And worse than it's been in previous movies.
Yeah. Did you guys want to talk about the animation and all in this? This is remember last time, I think, Tyler, you said this is the first changeover from.
Yeah, the last one was the last cell shaded animation. Yeah. It looks a little bit more modern, honestly. I think some of it is weird. I think that overall, I think that they have a little bit more quality control in terms of how the things are looking, but I don't think it necessarily looks better.
Right.
But it definitely doesn't. It has a lot less of the weirdness that we've seen in some shots. But I mean, some of the scale is another issue that is just as weird as some of those other things.
That's even more about planning than the animation itself. You know, just not having correct models and not
Yep.
But like, I mean, it definitely looks a lot smoother. Like you don't have all the like weirdness and like lines everywhere, like so everyone's like super smooth now. No one ever has any scales or any texture to them, but at least they're cleaner, I guess. Like
that sounds like some Daddy Tops logic,
I guess. But, I mean, I thought that a lot of the backgrounds still looked really good, because they weren't like, they were more like paint, like looked more traditionally painted, I guess.
There was just one moment where I was like, yeah. There's a part where like they show that Ducky is like hanging on to a stalactite or something.
Yeah.
And it was so zoomed in that the stalactite itself was like pixelated.
Oh, no.
And then you see it like a second later and it looks like, they zoomed back out and everything looks fine. But it was like they had just like, zoomed in too far on this thing and you could see all the little like dots on it and everything.
Yeah, it's definitely weird, especially because they do the 3D galaxy and then they did like a 3D rock for these 3 pterodactyls to land on in the beginning that looked horrible. But then they don't really use 3D for the rest. There's like a lot of simulated multiplane camera stuff later that I hadn't noticed as much in previous
There's
versions.
that weird like camera movement around the Stone of Cold Fire that I think utilizes some 3D.
Yep.
Okay.
When Toronto's like in front of it, like, give me the power. And it like,
give me the power.
Camera kind of moves around it weirdly. Yeah.
I do like a movie where the big MacGuffin is nothing. Everybody thinks it's this big important thing, and it turns out it's just a rock.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's why I was like, what did it? I guess it explodes at the end, and that's it. No powers.
It killed them because they were lame. Like if the Guardians of the Galaxy had all held hands and touched it, then they would have been able to absorb the power instead of it exploding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think of what other hilarious moments. There's a part. So eventually, I think Ducky or somebody wakes up in the middle of the night. I don't know if she also rolls over on pine cones or what, but she wakes up in the middle of the night.
Goddamn pine cones.
Yeah.
No, she has a crisis of how they treated Petrie. She can't sleep. Spike's like, yeah, whatever, dude, and goes back to sleep. And then she goes to find Petrie to apologize.
But she happens upon Toronto and his cronies and hears the entire thing. And then they catch her and immediately like fly away with her. And I thought it was hilarious that like she's screaming like, help! And then like all the dinosaurs wake up in a fucking panic, like, oh my God, what? And someone's like, sharp teeth.
Yeah.
And they're like, fuck, run. And I was just like, does this happen? Okay, you're telling me like none of these dinosaurs have had a nightmare or something and woke up screaming?
It's like Sarah screams constantly.
Yeah.
And first of all, this is like the first time we've ever seen they're all like sleeping right next to each other rather than in like their different spots in the Great Valley. It was super weird.
Daddy Tops is not for that at all.
Yeah, they all start panicking and running over each other, and the whole time Littlefoot and Peachy are like, oh, that's Ducky. I know exactly where that's coming from. Let me run there immediately, and with no adult help.
Yeah, the adults are just like, holy shit, Rob.
Sharp teeth. What was that?
Yeah. And then at the end, they're like, they say something like, of course the kids went after him. They saw us sitting around doing nothing to try to save Ducky. So, yeah, like always. So, yeah, they are all headed towards the Triceratops
Rock
Mountain. Yeah, which should be Saurus Rock.
Three-Horn Peak.
Three-Horn Peak, that's right.
Three-Horn Peaks.
Okay, so how do we eventually get to this? There is good inside.
Well, they eventually, it's raining so hard that they got to go hide in this cave, right? Mm-hmm. And Ducky had fallen into a cave, and they come back into, they find Ducky, and they're like, yay! And I think Petrie's like, I can't believe my uncle would do this. And then Ducky's he was sad, or he was upset with the other ones when I fell down through the hole.
Well, right. They do the whole bit where like it's after the whole meta thing where like Sarah 2 minutes before is just like, I'm not doing it. We always do this. This always happens. You know what else always happens? They stop and rest next to the exact thing that they're trying to find. And they do that with Ducky.
Yeah. And like all these, all the songs that kind of just come out of nowhere, like, yeah, but he's probably good inside. I think he's good inside, and that's just like, ugh.
It's just like pick a lane with this guy, make him either. I mean, I get that kids should understand nuance and that villains, like we got a whole Killmonger thing going on here where you're like, oh, the villain, he could be right, but no, this is not that. Like, this guy's dumb. Like, like
he's not worth our.
I didn't hate it. I mean, I like the idea of that, like, hey, like you have some family that like they're a little weird, but you need to give them a chance.
They may have caused the death of like 50 or so dinosaurs, but he's probably good.
I would say forgive him, but after what he did with the kidnapping Ducky and all of that, then I'm like, no, it's over. There's no good inside.
You kidnapped a child. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I just thought this song was weird. It was another one of those like, your friend might have slapped you in the face, but he probably didn't mean it because he's good inside. Yeah. It was just like a little weird. I've got that clip of the colors that you guys were talking about, which I thought was a very awkward moment in the song.
No one's only black or white. We're pink and yellow and green.
Ugh. No like. do not like that.
Oh, God.
And then they also are big fans of Star Wars.
Everybody's got a little dark side to them. Everyone has got a little light.
Oh, how cute!
Yeah.
The only this is a terrible song. It's like
song.
And I feel like this song leads to anger, and anger leads to hate, and hate leads to the dark side of.
I was like, the only good thing about this song is the very end, which gives us another lovely Spike moment, just like last week.
Everybody has good inside. Good inside.
So stupid.
Do we think that they will ever tire of that joke, or is Spike gonna sing in every damn movie?
Well, now that maybe they got big feedback, like, oh my God, that song with Spike singing was so funny. You guys got to make him sing again.
It's been the same people for a few movies now doing the music, and like I feel like this is kind of like a real low for them from what we've seen so far.
Yeah, the songs, and I think the Great Beyond one is maybe the best, but I really don't like any of them.
No,
I don't like any of them.
I couldn't even pull clips from the third song because I was just like, this is just so terrible.
No, it's all talk singing. It's stupid.
It's like, why give a song to a guy who can't sing?
And who is the villain, and it's not like a nuanced villain song at all.
It's dumb. Yeah, it's bad.
It's like, you're not Radigan, bro. Step down.
I guess no one would be surprised to learn that none of these songs are on the best of the Land Before Time songs.
I was wondering about that. Oh, God. Okay. So also at this point, we've seen several times at the end of scenes the two shadows of the rainbow faces like going across the screen, like they're kind of omnipresent and following somehow everyone at once.
Yep.
Aliens.
What's happening? On our journey to the I was going to say Trihorn Flats or whatever. On the way to what is it? Three-Horn Mountain Peak?
Three-Horn Peak.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
There are some fun like action sequences that I thought I had a good time with, like the water ski.
Yeah, the water skiing was fun.
I thought that was
going
pretty
to
cool.
say about the rain and the water in this. The new animation style does allow for some of that stuff to work much better.
Yeah, I thought that looked pretty good. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they like concoct this way for the kids to be like taking this like log and then two parts of a log to kind of be like a boat with some water skis behind it as they're like racing down this river. And I thought that was kind of fun. And it looked cool for these movies, I think.
Yeah. No Loch Ness Monster, no Nessie, no plesiosaur jumping out and getting anybody, but I'll take it.
They just trick those pterodactyls into flying into a rock, which was kind of fun.
I was kind of weirded out by the inconsistency of the opaqueness of their wings.
Oh,
like it was very like
there was
were
a lot
they
of
solid? Were they like? And I get like, oh, okay, now we have computer animation, we can make them a little bit see through, but it's like they can't be kind of see through like that unless the sun is like pointing. The light has to be going through them, and there should be bones and like.
Yeah, they're not dragonfly wings. Like
like it just looks like a solid flap of skin, which is I'm pretty sure not the case.
Yeah, it was very weird. And I was like, that must be trickier to animate than being see-through like that. But okay.
Also, I mean, it was funny to me that Rob Paulsen was the pink one that sounded exactly like Pinky.
Oh, yeah. And then we get Jim Cummings in this one doing like the same voice he does.
I mean, finally. Do you really have an animated series without Jim Cummings showing up?
He's got to show up.
It's actually shocking that he hasn't been in any of these movies up till now.
Yeah. His voice is just so distinct. I was like, yep, there he is.
There he is.
Rob Paulsen, he has for most of these, but they're like, we're not going to pay you to just make those spike noises, all right? You're going to do one of these villains, too.
Yeah. But it was so funny because it was the dynamic even between them was kind of very Pinky in the Brain like. Right. I thought that was kind of weird.
They've had that dynamic like.
That's true.
3 times already.
That's true. It's going back to it.
Oh, God. I mean, so what is even the point of the villain song? He's just basically saying, like, I'm really awesome.
The villain song, let me for those who might want to look it up, the song is called Very Important Creature. If that
VIC.
doesn't, if
classic VIC situation.
That doesn't give you that sounds like a really ringing tune. Very Important Creature.
Rolls off the tongue.
It's basically just him being like, I'm so great and I can do all the stuff. And then the henchman in the background being like, this guy's annoying. Let's kill him later on.
That was more entertaining than the actual song.
But I was just mad that I thought about getting a clip just so you could hear how out of tune this dude is. But it's like, I was like, was this the final take of this song? Like, they put this in and you can hear him singing like out of tune. And yeah, like you said, it's mostly talk singing, but the times where he does have to like hold a note, it's like, ugh. I feel bad for whoever recorded this.
I mean, he's and featuring
Michael York.
Yeah.
Who, was he the guy who was Michael York the guy who was like in Austin Powers, or was that the other dude?
Apparently, yes.
Yeah, here's a phrase you can just get how jaunty and just a smooth flowing song this is. Tyranno, this is early on.
Hey, you better do it in a British accent.
No, I'm gonna read it deadpan.
Lame.
Yes, I'm a very important creature, tremendously brave and strong. I find that I'm frequently right when others are often wrong. Instead of arguing blindly, they should open their eyes and see that the one who will bring them paradise is the very important me.
Why is he even singing that at this point after he killed all those people?
That's what I'm saying. Like, these songs just come out of nowhere, and it's just like, what? And he's like hallucinating. He's like hallucinating these. Well, I don't know if he's actually hallucinating, but it's like showing all these visions of him being amazing and telling.
Let me read you some IMDb trivia, our favorite source. But Michael York received a Video Premiere Award nomination for Best Animated Character Performance in 2001 for voicing Toronto. The nomination was shared with supervising animator Zion Davis. And then another fact. I don't know who wrote this, but God love him. Okay. Toronto has become extremely popular among fans, featuring prominently in fan works and cited by many fans as their favorite character outside the 5 main characters or their favorite new character. Many fans claim that his voice actor is what makes him such an appealing character, being one of the few new characters to be voiced by an actor rather than a voice actor. His voice acting has even been compared to that of Tim Curry due to their similar overacting and English accents.
Oh boy.
1 out of 1 found this interesting.
1 out of 1. Yeah, I think that's a good
Why?
trivia.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I don't want to read the fan works about Toronto.
Yeah, what the fuck is that? I'm
the founder of Dinosaur Nambla or something.
Oh god. I can't believe that people would write more stories about Toronto. That makes no sense.
Well, speaking of, do we think that we are going to get more aliens, or do you think that this is it?
I was going to ask the same about Toronto. He gets banished for 5 cold times, and the aliens beam up to space, never to be seen again. Probably.
I don't think we see the aliens again.
Yeah,
I don't think so either.
I don't think we can see Toronto again because there's no way we can have 5 cold times pass without these kids growing up.
Yeah, exactly.
5 cold times.
I think these are just consecutive days in the life.
Oh my god, I'm just exhausted. Worst week ever.
A lot of shit going on in 1 month. Yeah. I was gonna say, speaking of characters, I saw this when I was looking up the song for last week, and I didn't want to mention it on the thing, but there is an episode of the animated series called like The Return of the Lone Dinosaur. So there's possibility that some of these characters might show up back in the animated series.
Oh, also you said it wrong.
The Lone Dinosaur. Sorry,
Thank you.
I forgot. Oh god. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think the aliens are gonna. They're, you know. That would be funny though if now Littlefoot was like, I told you there's aliens, and he's going around telling everyone there's aliens.
No, lock him up.
Yeah.
And then we get Dinosaur Men in Black.
Oh yeah. Well, okay, so it is kind of interesting, and this is like, you know, obviously overthinking what this movie is trying to do at all, but you know, that's what we do here. Littlefoot has left the Great Valley and led these adventures many, many times as people are, you know, verbally starting to notice, you know, like this literally happens every time. I don't want to do this again, you know, etc. Yeah. But he always left for a reason. And he does eventually leave for a reason in this one because Ducky is kidnapped. But the ending reprise and the kind of like attitude that they've given Littlefoot in this one is that they're instilling a kind of like wanderlust in him that has not been there before. And so I'm kind of like, how is that going to work in the future if you need him to stay in the Great Valley, you know, with everybody? But now he is like, I'm sure they'll just forget it and drop it. But this movie has established that he's kind of like, I just want to like go out there and explore and see, you know, how far I'll go or, you know, whatever.
Yeah, it would just be great. The next movie, he's like, I've seen things, you guys. You have no idea. The world is so much bigger than you.
He's been gone for a year and he comes back.
He's got a beard. Yeah.
Yeah. That would be puberty. That would make us right.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just thought it was like a weird thing to introduce for Littlefoot at this point. When we still haven't dealt with the emotional, fallout of losing his mother. And
yeah. I did like, I mean, it's a good message for kids. I'm fine with the message. I kind of hope that he does like let's go on a riverboat adventure, guys.
I did love the way the aliens leave. They're like, "Hey, Littlefoot, look over there. Oh shit, what's that?" And then he's like, "Huh? What?" And then they get like beamed up out of nowhere.
Yes,
he fell
wild
for that
implications.
old trick. Stupid Earth dinosaur fell for.
I just don't know, like, what were they even trying to teach him?
Yeah,
by coming.
Why? Yeah, why were they there? All they did was they didn't actually like instill any knowledge on him. They just said like, "Hey, maybe there's more out there than you know." That was about it. Well, what was they taught him how to make an elevator out of a steam shaft. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, they would have died from that, I think.
Yeah. I like how they make it up to the top and then like the rock almost comes crashing down on Petrie or something. Yeah, they probably would have died. You're right. They would die so many times. I did want to talk about the final confrontation up on the top of Three Horn Peak. I got it, I think. I like the moment where like Ducky is like falling off the edge and then Toronto has like a flashback to that other dinosaur that fell to its death.
Yeah, that was like
he's
dark.
Like, no, it's happening again.
Maybe I shouldn't have spent all this time finding some dumb rock.
Yeah.
It's just so much back and forth and inconsistency with that character.
It was weird.
Yeah.
But it also had one of the most absurd moments in the movie that made me laugh because I was just like, what the fuck was that? There's this big they're like, we gotta get out of here as fast as we can. How are we gonna get out of here? We can't get. And then all of a sudden you see these shadows fly over, and it's Petrie's mom has come to the rescue along with the help of this like giant flyer, and this happens that I just cracked me up.
Whoa, that is one big flyer. Huh?
They make this like they pan up, and I feel like I don't know if this was also like a weird self-referential thing where they were like, I felt like they were gonna make a callback to like the Nessie thing showing up and like being super nice and saving them. And this one they're like, oh my god, look, and he just like leans forward and goes, duh. And they're just like, huh? And that's it. He never says anything else. They never acknowledge
explanation.
Yeah, they never acknowledge.
Would have been like, hey, Petrie, this is your new dad. Sorry, I had to tell you this way.
Yeah, sorry, I had to find out this way.
They don't explain anything about it. The music rises and he just goes, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Yeah.
No, this is where there should have been some pathos of Petrie's mom being like, you disgraced our family and we've been working every day to make up for what you did to the herd.
Yeah.
And like,
I still hear the screams of the innocents.
Yeah. Yeah. Nope. They just fly back and everything's fine. They're sitting in their weird like council chambers that they have this time, where it's like a round table and there's like bleacher seats and, and they're like, we sentence you to 5 cold times outside in the mysterious beyond.
It's bizarre.
And then like I mean, to Toronto's credit, at one he starts by saying, I'll freeze, like they're moving this way, like, and Petrie shows concern, and then he just immediately flips and he's like, I'll be fine, like don't worry about me, like it's fine.
Then when he sees Sarah's dad, he's like, you know what, there's some stuff I'm really not gonna miss.
Yeah.
And I was like, fair enough, bro. Fair enough.
He says that as he's flying away, like bye. That was kind of funny.
Yeah. I hope that the aliens come back. I hope that this is the start of an Avengers style building up of.
Well, hey, now we've seen aliens that decided to disguise themselves as dinosaurs.
Littlefoot's going to invent humanity.
They're
I mean, are they disguised or is that just how they look?
Well,
Who
yeah,
knows?
but I was gonna, yeah, I guess, but they called them rainbow faces like that was a thing, but maybe they were just saying that because of their faces right in that moment.
Yeah.
they just made it up.
Yeah.
Who knows how their language works?
What is that rainbow face saying? Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, if there's aliens, the chances of there being humans showing up is like skyrocketed.
Yeah.
Well, is rainbow, is that like any real dinosaur that, I mean, I guess
they're modeled
there's no way
after
of us knowing.
They're modeled after real dinosaurs that did have colorations on their faces, but they are not like known as rainbow faces. There's not color.
How do we even know that any dinosaurs had coloration on their face?
We don't.
Oh, okay.
It's a gallimimus is what it says on Wikipedia.
I think that there's some stuff with pigmentation, but like we don't know which ones had feathers.
I guess you
Most
could
of them
tell,
probably
like,
did.
depending on how damaged the bones are, how much sun got through the.
Yeah.
Oh well, we're overthinking it. Yeah.
I would say in 2000 they were not. Yeah, they were not quite.
We did
figuring that
see
out.
someone in the background or on the side that was feathered in this one.
Mhm.
I was
Oh,
like,
really?
that really stood out to me.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
No explanation, but they were there.
Interesting.
Well, I think that it might be time that we decide how many crunchy pine cones would you give the Land Before Time, the Spit Hot Fire, the legend of the cold fire,
That stone cold
cold
fire.
fire.
Petrie's creepy uncle. That's what I'm calling it.
Yeah,
Old Stone Creamery, the movie.
God, I mean,
Uncle Petrie's creepy quest.
Follow me, children.
I like don't even remember like where I'm at with these rankings, but I don't know. This one kind of pissed me off, and so I want to give it 3 pine cones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, what's that? Oh, 3
Just
pine
annoyed
cones.
me. Like
I
the
can't sleep.
songs were bad, the characters were bad. Like I don't know.
Yeah, this was a step back for sure for me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna also go 3 annoying pine cones that won't let me sleep. Yeah, it's just like the songs were so bad. And the whole aliens thing was like super wonky and like why did they? I don't know.
It
You
didn't
think
even matter.
Yeah,
it was
didn't
not
make any
part
sense.
of anything.
it just seemed like they were all of a sudden at the end going to be like it's aliens, but it didn't matter to the rest of the movie, and
It didn't matter to the rest of the dinosaurs.
yeah, exactly. It's dumb. It's dumb. Bad movie. Don't watch it. Skip.
I'm gonna give it 4 crunchy pine cones. I like that the villain wasn't Sharp Teeth. The Toronto didn't annoy me as much because I like that they were trying to they failed, but they tried to make a nuanced villain that had a lesson. They just picked the wrong like metrics for what he did in the order that he did them. But yeah, the songs are terrible. I hope the aliens come back, but they probably won't.
Also, we had so much fun last week. This week, no special features at all.
I know. I was
Yeah.
so
Lame.
sad. I thought for sure. I was like, whoa.
It's the
they-
same disc, so
I
I'm like,
know.
what? Yeah. I don't know.
I also like that it's the 4. Most of the 4 comes from them actually starting to make some meta jokes and being a little bit self-aware. I did enjoy that.
Yeah. That part was nice, but it wasn't enough to make me be like, this movie's worth watching.
No, yes, for sure.
I mean, it is. Yeah, I'm going to assume that this is the only time there's aliens, and it is kind of interesting that they went that route. But just like, I don't know, they should have done something more with it.
I like to give me geriatric giant turtle. That's more fun.
If you're gonna have aliens, just fucking beam Littlefoot onto a ship or something. But let's go somewhere totally crazy and not be in the Great Valley for 1 second. That would have been nice. Okay, that would have been nice.
Well, do we have predictions for what happens next?
Yeah, well, I can give you the title of the 8th Land Before Time
Okay.
film that comes out just a year later because they're just cranking these things out like it's a TV episode. This This one is called The Land Before Time VIII, The Big Freeze.
Oh, so you're right. It is like 2 months later, and it's the first long cold time.
Do we think this is our Christmas episode coming up?
It could be.
Or the Ice Age crossover?
Yeah, it could be. Well, it could be Ice Age stuff.
Let's hope they get into some Christ tropes in the middle of this.
Let's hope they get into some Christ tropes.
That's what we need to be talking about on this.
Yeah. They did Scientology with the aliens. Now we're just gonna do a tour of world religions. They just started with Scientology.
But you know what, though? Based on the calculations that I just did, it's time for a Trumper to come back again. Because we got 2, and then 3, 4, 5 was Mysterious Island, and then 6, 7, 8 should be another Chomper.
I thought you were gonna do like a Fibonacci sequence thing.
Maybe.
Oh man.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
if we're doing that, then he won't be back until 9. But
yeah.
It's like, what do you think is going to be? What do you think the villain is going to be? Or are they just going to be like dealing with it snowing for one day?
It's just going to be a super brutal survival movie. Ducky's going to die of exposure.
Maybe a polar bear?
Oh,
it's like the Revenant. It'll be a saber-toothed tiger.
They have to learn to go ice fishing,
but that's wrong.
Saber-toothed tiger. Yeah. Wow, a woolly mammoth is passing through the town.
Yep.
Oh boy. Well, I think that's probably going to be about it for this one.
That's it.
Not much else to talk about on that movie. Pretty rough. So, Eliz, where can people reach out to us?
Yeah, you can email us, sequelrights@gmail.com, or find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at sequelrights.
And please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. 5 stars goes a very long way in helping other people find us and join us on our journey beyond the mysterious beyond.
Also, by my another set of calculations, you have, I think, 1 more day to donate to us if you're listening to this on the day that it comes out for our fundraising for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Very tired. So you can sign up for either of my virtual escape rooms, or you can just donate money to our fundraisers at bit.ly/Eliz hates cancer. That's bit.ly/Eliz hates cancer.
Do it. There's still time to help out and make a difference. You'll feel good about it. You've saved so much money during the pandemic. Hopefully, maybe, maybe not. But just throw a little bit towards the LLS, and it'll make you feel good inside. All right.
Heck yeah.
And help people.
Yeah, exactly. That's it, you guys. We'll see you with our parkas on next week for The Land Before Time VIII, The Big Freeze.
Beyond the mysterious beyond, out past the smallest light that's twinkling, you cannot even have an inkling of what is going on. For example, there's this enormous black...
Beyond the mysterious beyond, out where the darkness is the scariest, out where the wonders are the rarest, past the edge of dawn.
There's so much more to everything than anyone supposes.
The answers lie inside your dreams and underneath your noses. Beyond this mysterious beyond, they act like they really think they know it all, but I won't believe it till they show it all. I trust what my eyes can see, not some dumb beyond.
Friends of yours?
Not really. They joined up with us some time ago, always asking questions, talking in riddles. Harmless, I think, but, well, they are a bit strange.
You're all a bit strange if you ask me.
Beyond the mysterious beyond, think of the things that we could see there. Oh, how I wish that we could...